Part 1. The Pain of the Ivory Tower. Your worldview has expanded, but your world of connection has shrunk. How do you build a bridge to someone who is living on a completely different continent of reality? The answer is not in pulling them to your side, but in finding a secret place where you are both already standing together. If you feel the ache of a new kind of isolation, the one born from your own expanded awareness, then you have found a guide for building bridges. Your unique perspective is not a barrier to connection, it is a gateway to a much deeper one. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice, and let us, together, learn the art of the soul-to-soul connection. Let's begin by acknowledging the lonely pain of living in the ivory tower of your own consciousness. You have journeyed inward. You have climbed the winding staircase of your own being, and you have reached a high chamber with a panoramic view. From here, you can see the great patterns of life, the interconnectedness of all things, the elegant simplicity of the universe. The view is breathtaking. It is true. And it is yours. But it is a solitary view. You look down from your tower, and you see the people you love, walking in the busy, confusing streets of the world below. And a great and painful chasm of understanding separates you from them. You try to call down to them, to describe the beautiful, expansive view from the top, but your voice is lost in the wind. Your words, describing a reality they cannot see, sound like a foreign language. And so, you feel like a professor with no students, a guide with no one to lead, a king or queen of a beautiful and empty tower. The pain of this is profound. It is the frustration of knowing the answer to a question no one is asking. It is the grief of seeing a path to peace that no one else seems to want to walk. And the greatest temptation in this ivory tower is to pull up the drawbridge entirely, to decide that connection is impossible, that the world is not ready, that it is simply too difficult and too painful to try and bridge the gap. The temptation is to retreat into a safe, but sterile, solitude. But your soul did not bring you this high up to be alone. It brought you up here to give you a new, and much more powerful way to connect. Part 2. The Paradigm of Connection. To build these new bridges, we must first dismantle the old paradigm of connection that we have been taught. We have been conditioned to believe that connection is based on similarity. We connect with people who share our beliefs, our interests, our politics, our sense of humor. We find our tribe by finding a group of people who are, in essence, a reflection of ourselves. This is the connection of the ego. It is based on finding a comfortable mirror for our own persona. And when our own persona undergoes a radical transformation, this form of connection shatters. This is why you feel disconnected. You are still trying to connect based on the old paradigm of a shared mind, a shared worldview. But your worldview is no longer shared. The new paradigm, the one you are being invited to master, is the paradigm of soul connection. And soul connection is not based on similarity. It is based on presence. It is the radical ability to be fully and compassionately present for the experience of another, without any need to agree with their interpretation of that experience. It is to understand that you do not have to live on the same continent of belief to meet in the shared ocean of the human heart. Think of it this way. Your friend is telling you a story about a problem at work that, to your new perspective, seems trivial and ego-driven. The old ego connection would require you to either agree with their drama, yes, your boss is terrible, or to try and fix them with your spiritual wisdom, you just need to see this from a higher perspective. Both of these are forms of conflict. The new soul connection offers a third path. You do not engage with the story at all. You engage with the being behind the story. You listen, not to the details of the drama, but to the feeling underneath it. You see their frustration, their fear, their desire to be seen. And you connect with that. You offer them the pure, non-judgmental, and incredibly healing gift of your silent, loving presence. You do not have to agree with their mind to love their heart. This is the key. Your awakening has not made you less capable of connection. It has, for the first time, qualified you to offer the deepest and most profound form of connection that exists. Part 3. The Somatics of Connection. This shift from a mind-level connection to a soul-level connection is not just a change in your conversational strategy. It is a profound shift in your entire energetic and physical posture. Let's do a somatic investigation to feel the difference. First, let's embody the old way, the energy of the mind trying to connect. Remember a time when you were trying to explain your new perspective to someone. A time you were trying to make them understand. Bring that memory to mind. And now, feel the energy of that interaction in your body. Where does it live? It is almost entirely in your head and your upper body, isn't it? It is the energy of formulating arguments, of choosing the right words. It is a tense, focused energy behind your eyes. Notice its direction. It is a forward-moving, pushing energy. You are energetically leaning in, trying to transmit a package of information from your head into their head. It is a subtle form of aggression, and it is exhausting. This is the energy of debate, and it rarely, if ever, creates true connection. Now, with a long, slow exhale, let that memory and that energy dissolve. And let's embody the new way, the energy of the heart listening. Imagine you are sitting with that same person. But this time, you have given up the mission of making them understand you. Your only intention is to offer them your silent, loving presence. And now, feel the energy of that state in your body. Where does it live? Notice how the energy is no longer concentrated in your head. It drops down, into the center of your chest, into your heart space. It is a warm, soft, and open energy. Notice its direction. It is not pushing forward. It is receptive. It is leaning back, creating a vast, open, and safe space for the other person to be themselves. It is the posture of a loving invitation. This is the energy of communion. Feel the difference. The first state is a contracted, mental, and effortful push. The second state is an expanded, heart-centered, and effortless allowing. The first state is trying to build a bridge of words. The second state is the bridge, a bridge made of pure, non-judgmental presence. You have been trying so hard to build bridges. The great secret is to realize that your own, silent, open-hearted presence is the strongest and most beautiful bridge you could ever offer. Part 4. The field beyond right and wrong. This radical shift, from the battlefield of the mind to the open field of the heart, is the secret to all true and deep connection. It is a wisdom that has been sung by the poets and the mystics for centuries. The great Sufi master, Rumi, gave us the most perfect and beautiful map to this new territory of connection. He wrote, "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there." This is not just a beautiful line of poetry. It is a precise and practical set of instructions. The ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing are the domain of the mind, of the ego. This is the level of concepts, of beliefs, of judgments. My worldview is right, and yours is wrong. My perspective is awake, and yours is asleep. As long as you are trying to connect on this level, you are on the battlefield. And on the battlefield, there is no true connection. There is only winning and losing, convincing and resisting. Rumi points us to a different place. There is a field. This field is a different dimension of relationship. It is the level of the heart. It is the level of shared, universal, human feeling. It is the level of your own silent, loving presence. In this field, your beliefs do not matter. Their beliefs do not matter. The only thing that matters is the shared humanity that exists beneath the noisy surface of your different minds. You may not agree with your father's political beliefs. That is the battlefield. But you can meet him in the field of his love for his family, the field of his desire to feel safe in the world. You may not agree with your friend's life choices. That is the battlefield. But you can meet them in the field of their longing for happiness, the field of their fear of pain. The great art of conscious connection is the art of learning how to gracefully step off the battlefield of right and wrong, and to invite the other person, silently and by your own example, into the open, peaceful, and accepting field of the heart. You stop trying to be the teacher who corrects their map. And you become the fellow traveler who simply acknowledges the weariness in their feet. In that simple act of shared human empathy, you will find a connection that is more real, more profound, and more healing than any intellectual agreement could ever be. You do not have to think alike to love alike. Part 5. The Parable of the Ambassador and the Translator. To truly embody this new role in your relationships, let us tell a story. The Parable of the Ambassador and the Translator. Imagine a wise ambassador who is sent on a mission to a foreign land. The culture, the customs, and the language of this land are completely different from her own. Her mission is to build a bridge of trust and understanding between her world and theirs. She arrives, and she sees that the people of this new land have strange and, to her, illogical beliefs. They have different values. Their way of life seems inefficient and sometimes even self-destructive. Now, the ambassador has a choice. She could adopt the strategy of the conqueror. She could spend her time trying to prove that the ways of her own culture are superior, that their beliefs are wrong, that they should change to be more like her. This would be an act of arrogance, and it would result in conflict, in resistance, and in the complete failure of her mission. Or, she could adopt the strategy of the wise ambassador. She understands that her job is not to convert, but to connect. And she knows that to do this, she needs a translator. But the translator she seeks is not a person. The translator is the universal, non-verbal language of the human heart. And so, instead of debating their ideas, she learns to listen to their feelings. She does not focus on the strange words of their arguments. She focuses on the universal music of their emotions. She learns that the politician's angry speech is not about his strange political theory. It is about his deep and understandable fear for the safety of his children. She learns that the merchant's strange and seemingly greedy behavior is not about a flawed character. It is about his deep and understandable desire to feel a sense of security and worth in his community. The wise ambassador does not try to connect on the level of their different ideas. She bypasses the mind, and she connects on the level of their shared hearts. She learns to speak the universal language of empathy. She says, not with her words, but with her presence, I may not understand your map, but I understand what it feels like to be a traveler. I may not agree with your strategy, but I understand the desire for safety. I understand the longing for love. And in this, she builds her bridge. You are the ambassador. The foreign land is the ordinary, consensus reality of the people you love. And your translator is your own, awakened, and compassionate heart. Your mission is to stop being a conqueror of their ideas, and to become a master of empathy for their feelings. Part 6. The Vow of the Heart-Centered Ambassador. Do you recognize yourself in the story of this ambassador? Have you been, perhaps with the best of intentions, acting as a conqueror, trying to prove the superiority of your own new world? If this parable illuminates a new and more graceful path for you, then I invite you to accept your post. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice. This is a diplomatic core for the ambassadors of the new consciousness, a place where we learn the art of building bridges with love. And now, we must make a conscious choice. A choice to shift our entire relational strategy from the head to the heart. A vow to become a master of the universal language. Find your center. Feel the quiet, steady, and loving presence of your own heart, the field beyond right and wrong. And from this place of profound empathy, make this declaration. I now see and understand that I have been trying to connect with others on the level of the mind, and it has only created more separation. I see now that true connection happens on the level of the heart. I release the need to be right. I release the need to be understood. I release the need to change or fix anyone. I now accept my true mission, not to be a teacher of concepts, but to be an ambassador of presence. Now, let this vow become your new and guiding principle in every conversation. From this day forward, I make a vow to listen from my heart. I will listen past the words, past the stories, past the beliefs, and I will listen for the feeling underneath. My primary goal is no longer to be heard, but to make the other person feel truly and deeply heard. I will practice the art of finding the universal thread. In every story of conflict, I will look for the shared human desire for peace. In every story of drama, I will look for the shared human longing for love. I will connect with the thread, not the tangle. I will lead not with my wisdom, but with my vulnerability. I will offer not my cosmic insights, but my shared human heart. I will be the safest and most peaceful presence in the room. Take a deep, conscious breath, and feel the profound shift. The burden of being the teacher is lifted. The frustration of being the misunderstood genius is gone. And in its place, a new and beautiful role emerges. The role of the healer. The role of the peacemaker. The role of the one who, by their own silent, loving and heart-centered presence, reminds everyone they meet of the one, single field where we are all, and have always been, completely and beautifully, one. Part 7. The 3 levels of communication. To become a master ambassador, a true weaver of bridges, it is helpful to understand the different levels on which human beings communicate. By seeing these levels clearly, you can consciously choose which one to engage on. There are 3 primary levels. The first, and most superficial, is the level of the head. This is the level of concepts, of ideas, of beliefs, of opinions. It is the level of right and wrong. This is where 99% of human conversation takes place. It is also the level of all argument and all debate. To try and create a true connection on this level, when worldviews are fundamentally different, is a futile and frustrating task. As an ambassador, your work is to recognize this level, but to gracefully refuse to get stuck there. The second, deeper level is the level of the heart. This is the level of feelings, of emotions, of universal human experience. This is the field that Rumi spoke of. While our heads may be in completely different worlds, our hearts all speak the same language. Your friend's belief about politics may be alien to you, but their fear for their country is a feeling you can understand. Your mother's story about a family drama may seem trivial to you, but her longing for love and connection is a feeling you know intimately. This is the level where true empathy is born. It is the level where you can say, with complete honesty, I may not see it the way you do, but I can feel how much this hurts you. This is the level where the bridge of connection is built. The third, and deepest, level is the level of being. This is the level of pure, silent, non-verbal presence. It is the connection that happens beyond all words, and even beyond all feelings. It is the simple, powerful act of your own, calm, regulated nervous system, silently communicating safety and peace to another. It is the act of seeing the silent, conscious awareness behind their mask, and honoring it with your own. This is the most powerful level of communication in the universe. Often, your greatest gift to another person is not to speak at all, but to simply sit with them in a state of deep, unconditional, and loving presence. In this shared silence, a communion of souls can happen that is far more profound than anything that could ever be said. Your new skill as a conscious communicator is to learn how to navigate these 3 levels. To spend less time on the chaotic battlefield of the head, and to invest your energy in the deep, connecting waters of the heart and the boundless, peaceful sky of being. Part 8. Rituals for the Bridge Weaver. To make this new way of communicating your default setting, you must practice it. You must build the muscle of heart-centered connection. These are the daily rituals of the Bridge Weaver. The first ritual is the practice of deep listening. For the next week, I want you to enter into your conversations with one single goal, not to be interesting, but to be interested. Your entire mission is to make the other person feel so deeply heard, so fully seen, and so completely unjudged, that they feel safe enough to be themselves. This means you will listen with more than your ears. You will listen with your whole body. You will not plan your response while they are talking. You will not interrupt. You will ask clarifying heart-centered questions like, how did that feel for you? Or, what was the hardest part of that for you? You are listening for the feeling, not the facts. This practice is an act of profound generosity. And the paradox is that, in making the other person the complete focus of your loving attention, You will create a sense of connection more real and more satisfying than you ever did by trying to be understood yourself. The second ritual is to find the human thread. In any conversation, no matter how frustrating or how unconscious it may seem, your new practice is to become a detective for the universal human thread. Your job is to look past the tangled story and to find the one, single, universal feeling or value that is driving it. Your brother is complaining about his job. The universal thread is the desire for a sense of purpose and respect. Your friend is gossiping about a mutual acquaintance. The universal thread is a longing to feel a sense of belonging and connection. Your parent is expressing a fearful, rigid belief. The universal thread is a deep desire for safety in a confusing world. Your practice is to mentally and silently name that thread. Ah, this is about the need for safety. And then, you will connect with that thread in yourself. You know what it feels like to want to be safe. In that moment of shared feeling, all judgment disappears, and you can respond to their heart, not to their story. The third ritual is to lead with safe vulnerability. Often, we try to share our great, cosmic, spiritual insights, and it pushes people away. It is too much, too soon. A much more effective way to build a bridge is to lead not with your strength, but with your softness. Instead of sharing a spiritual concept from your head, try sharing a simple, human feeling from your heart. Instead of saying, you need to learn to be more present, you could say, I've been feeling really overwhelmed lately, and I'm learning how important it is for me to just take a quiet moment for myself. Your authentic, human vulnerability is an invitation. It is a quiet permission slip for the other person to be a little more human, a little more vulnerable, themselves. It is the most powerful and loving way to show them the path, not by pointing to it, but by simply walking it yourself. Part 9. The Skill of the Peacemaker. As you begin to master these rituals of connection, you will realize that you are cultivating more than just a personal relationship skill. You are cultivating a planetary service. Our world is becoming more and more fragmented. We are retreating into our own ideological bubbles, our own digital echo chambers. We are losing the ability to speak to, and to hear, those with whom we disagree. The art of building bridges across different worldviews is the most needed, and the most endangered, skill of our time. You, as the awakened one, as the person who can see the world from a higher and more inclusive perspective, are perfectly and uniquely positioned to become a master of this art. You are a natural-born peacemaker, a weaver of the fractured threads of our collective human family. Your ability to listen without judgment, to find the universal heart beneath the divisive story, to hold a calm and non-reactive presence in the midst of conflict, this is not just a way to have better family dinners. This is a form of sacred activism. Every time you choose to meet a fearful mind with a peaceful heart, you are casting a powerful vote for a different kind of world. You are demonstrating, in a small but profound way, that connection is possible, even in the midst of difference. This is your new work. This is your new purpose. You are not the lonely lighthouse, separate from the ships. You are the skilled and courageous harbor master, who can create a safe port for any and all ships, no matter how battered by the storm or how different their flags may be. Part 10. The Great Inversion of Connection. And now we arrive at the final, beautiful, and heart-opening epiphany of this journey. You began with the painful belief that your awakening, your different way of seeing the world, was a barrier to your connection with others. You believed that your unique perspective was the source of your isolation. The great inversion, the final and most liberating truth, is this: your awakening is not a barrier to connection. It is the very thing that has qualified you to experience the deepest and most authentic form of connection that exists. Before, your connections were based on the fragile and temporary alignment of your egos. Now, you have the capacity to connect on the indestructible and eternal level of the soul. Before, you could only truly connect with those who reflected your own beliefs. Now, you have the capacity to find a point of connection with any being, because you can see the one, shared and universal consciousness that is looking out through their eyes. You thought the pain was that you were not being understood. The epiphany is that your true joy is not in being understood, but in the profound and sacred act of understanding. When you make this final shift, the last vestiges of your loneliness dissolve. You no longer need anything from anyone. You are no longer the beggar for connection. You have become the source of connection. You are an oasis of pure, non-judgmental presence in a world that is dying of thirst for it. And the beautiful paradox is that when you stop needing others to be your tribe, when you can offer the gift of your presence to anyone and everyone without condition, you will find your true tribe everywhere. You will find it in the eyes of the cashier at the grocery store. You will find it in the heart of your most unconscious family member. You will find it in every single being you meet. Because you will finally understand that there is only one of us here. Your awakening was not a curse upon your relationships. It was the greatest gift you could ever offer them. If this journey has helped you to see the path to building bridges from the heart, then help us share these blueprints with the world. Subscribe to The Hidden Voice. Like and share this guidance. Every interaction you make helps to heal the illusion of separation and empowers another beautiful soul to become a peacemaker in their own life. Thank you for your courage to be the bridge. Now go and find the entire universe waiting for you in the heart of another.